good night. Hold on, I put my TikTok on.
And again, so when them are getting on there, because of course people that charity too, and charity food them there, and these you know them when you get to know what charity. You know, it's like people them saying them I don't do it on the country again. Ah, Jesus. That's how it's going, it's going to the country, it's going to the poor. It's going to the poor, and that's what it is. You always want to do your charity and see you get the chance to do, you know, for by blessing others. First, you
Good
know,
night,
first
Claudia.
for our own blessing others. That would look man, that would look at them.
No, these were not for charity. These were for the house, but some I sitting them in there. We're gonna put them in a charity. My son, we had a son all start sort out, we sort out. Cause we alone. And we have some people in our community, a couple of people. And I plan to make a bag and give them. You know, my sister then down. And even Sunday I go to church and I'm looking at church and we see some elderly people too. So I plan for make some local package and get them too. I go distribute it. Me one day I go do it because I go have more coming. On my time, man, on my time. Alright, thank you all for coming on. Thank you guys. Thank you. Good night to you all. Over. Let me see if I fix my ear good. I cannot me not fix it good. Me always never too good on ear fixing it. I don't know what's going on with me. Something alright. Something alright. Something alright. Me need to learn more. You so then come cause me go, oh, you're all piece of wig. You're all piece of wig. Mm. Oh my goodness, this laptop here. A whole heap of things are going, guys. I'm going to play one clip here. I'm going to hear this. Let me do it from this morning. Oh. So this man I just come in like in just one make. You know, no peace in her heart. You know, no peace in her heart, you know. No peace in her heart. You just want to torment people's life. This one torment people life, man. Cheese and peace. Joe and Simmet.
This is my boss in my place while I play. When I
Welcome again to that were brought in. Is at a private hospital in St. Andrew. And according to what he's saying, it is a fix to a PMP parliament. So, alright, I am going to play the clip so that you hear it.
dialysis machines
Listen.
that were purportedly imported by the University Hospital of the West Indies. I have some new information. So apparently, these machines were imported by the University Hospital of the West Indies, ostensibly so, but they were not imported by the University Hospital of the West Indies. Sounds confusing. It's because something went down. According to the Auditor General, the University Hospital's tax-exempt status was abused, corruptly used to bring into the island dialysis machines, other stuff. Yes. And a private medical facility is using those facilities or was party to the abuse of the UHWI's tax-exempt status. And now we're learning that it's not 10 dialysis machines that were brought in. It was 12. 12. Yeah. And we're also learning, yeah, that other items were brought in, and the duty that should have been paid if they'd done it legally should have been $11 million. They end up paying $1.1 million and denied the Treasury $10 million. So it's a case now where I gather it's now the subject of a criminal investigation by CTOC. Yeah. I gather CTOC, the Organized Crime Investigation Division, is involved now because apparently the 12 dialysis machines are at a private medical facility somewhere in St. Andrew. Yeah, somewhere in St. Andrew. And I gather the matter is now the source of tension inside the People's National Party because the private medical facility apparently is owned by a PNP parliamentarian. And I gather the PNP leader, Mr. Mark Golding, is furious about the turn of events. And it's going to end up. It's not known. Right now, it can go anyway. But what is known and what is being said to me by sources is that Mr. Golding, the opposition leader, has been made aware of this. And he is furious with the PNP parliamentarian. Yeah.
I don't know. I am waiting otherwise, but this has been circulating from this news break that he was a part of
Good night, Betty.
the corruption. But when I better try push it on the PNP alone, because who is in office at the university hospital that allow him to use it?
Trending in metal crafts. Alibaba.com.
And I see the youth arm of the, the tactics that the JLP is using, and I don't know if the PNP are pulled into it. The tactics that they are using is this. Anytime scandal or rock them, then try to draw other people in it. When you can't get out of them scandal, too much one behind the other. It now go easy for you to get away out of it. It's not going to be easy. Somebody just sent me this, I never even see this. US named Jamaica and 4 other Caribbean country and jugglers. Let me check the source for this. What is that going? What happened to the people? What going? Yeah, Dr. Daws say too. Boy, I don't know what going. So then did they call up Daws' name to and they want to mix up everybody and so then go on. That's how they act. Let me Jamaica cleaner. Somebody just send it to me. Let me check the source again. When was this released? Well, I mean, know. As so much it now going. No, somebody now get ready this time, man. It's too much. You know, so one day, they have a saying to say, every day bucket a go a well, one day the bottom a go drop out. Well, no, but you know, so them a go try highlight that one. Andrina Shaw. It couldn't be, because there's another private hospital that open up over Portmore too. And I think, boy, as they said, and I'm going to reiterate my statement. I don't care who in the corruption. It's not what I want to see, but if any of the PNP member in it, they must face the penalty. We want the PNP to be different, and we're not going to cover it up and have people or troll people on social media for saying the circle. If them guilty, if them do anything wrong, I'm not going to make sure tell them already from the beginning. So I'm not going to tolerate any form of thing that is not right. So, if so be it, and there is truth to what is circulating nationwide, have it out there. Some of the bludgers them have it out there. If there's any truth to it, and he's involved, he will have to face whatever. Because honestly, if it is true I would be so disappointed, so embarrassed. And trust me, that individual would have fooled me. I look at him as somebody with qualities. I look at him with morals, and it would be surprising that he would gone down this road, and then he would have to link up with the corrupt labor right them in order to get this done. Because Tufton is the Minister of Health. So all of this, I mean, have to be friend with them, so something not right. So I don't want to say much on it, but because I see it out there, I put it out there. I want to wait. I'm looking for a statement. I'm following the PNP website. I'm not seeing they put out a statement confirming anything. I'm not seeing it in mainstream media other than nationwide. So, let me hold on. And before I pass any kind of verdict or anything, I want to make sure we have the real facts. Alright? But I don't like what I see. I don't like it. Lenora Collins, Carol Hewitt. They won't get away this time, man. They won't get away. Let me play this other. Dr. Daws is on it. I'm going to tell you, say, the labor right them are run out like crazy. This is another mix-up again. Dr. Daws highlight out. Me say, a peer drama going in the people? A peer corruption drama. Hear this one you know. But then if you remember when they have the so this is what they're doing to Alfred Daws.
I have no affiliation with Jack then, but they knew this. A quick search at the company's office would have shown that I am not a director or shareholder, nor have I ever been listed on any company documents. 4 years ago, I was engaged to see whether or not I would provide medical services in my capacity as a consultant general laparoscopic and bariatric surgeon at the facility. Those talks fell through. So whoever had my name up as consultant, they did not put my proper title. I not only did medical school for 5 years, I went on and I did postgraduate training, a PhD specialization in surgery. Then I went on to do a further specialization in weight loss surgery and minimally invasive or laparoscopic surgery. So therefore, I am a consultant general laparoscopic and bariatric surgeon, and that is what should have been listed along with the other medical practitioners on that screenshot being circulated. But again, they're not interested in the truth. The fact of the matter is that apart from those interactions 4 years ago, I've had no business dealings whatsoever. I have not financially benefited. I have not seen one patient at that facility. But the intention was never to see whether or not what they were putting out was true, because they knew it wasn't. What they wanted was for me to be holding press conferences trying to clear my name and shift the conversation to whether or not I was a partner. Instead, for most of this week, I have been working on my own investigation that had actually started along with the Auditor General's investigation. And now, since they're crying out for me to break my silence, I am going to start talking tomorrow, Sunday, where I will be releasing the first part of a 5 or 6 part mini documentary series outlining the findings that we have at the University Hospital of the West Indies. So this attempt to deflect from what is really taking place is not going to work. And since they want me to start talking, I'm going to talk. And in the end, I just want to put this out there. Those 2 people who think that they are untouchable at the University Hospital of the West Indies because they have the support of the Minister of Health, your days are numbered, because you are now going to get famous. People are going to know what is happening at the University Hospital, and it goes far beyond just procurement fraud or customs fraud. What we are trying to do is to save the country from those people when the $6 billion contract to build a new building is underway. It's about $6 billion. It's not about the $500 million that's gone already. You cannot allow those in leadership right now, especially those 2, to stay there to preside over this mess that is taking place. So stay tuned. And to all the bloggers who have been calling for me to talk, you're getting your wish right now. So tune in tomorrow.
All right, so good night, Delana. Good night, Imagine and Believe, Lenora Collins. All right. This is the tactics of the Jamaica Labour Party. When the corruption has come out, and before they take accountability, they try to deflect. Now, Nationwide put out a statement as I just played. And then you're seeing the young arm of the Jamaica Labour Party coming out to put out a statement saying the PMP must declare if the man involved. They don't put out for Nationwide, so the man involved. So why the young arm come and ask? So something not right. Something is just not right. Let me read what the Jamaica. Anytime they're wrong, they want to draw other people in it. The Young Jamaica. In a release, Young Jamaica said the Auditor General report that the University Hospital of the West Indies tax exemption status was inappropriately used in 2024 to import 12 dialysis machines into Jamaica, and questioned whether the equipment was received by a company owned by a sitting PMP member of Parliament. So they are saying something different from what Cliff Hughes is saying. So what is the real answer? Am I here to say the man may never get it? No, I'm not here to say it. But there's no... Is it an assumption? Then, alright, let's say if they corrupt Eldora, Elrado. Oh, I read Elrado Williams. Let me say this. Let's say the PMP member of Parliament get the tax break through the university hospital. How did he get it, and who give him the authority to do so? How did he get it done? Because somebody who is in office, somebody who is up at the headship would have to give authorization. He could not automatically just go say a UC for it. He would have to have that. So the plot thicken and it deeper. And let me say this. All if PMP involved, a whole heap of labor right involved. So this not going to get away. So me just put it out like that. Because I'm not going to be one of them. And I tell you already, if the PMP find themselves in corruption, I will be the first to highlight it, condemn it, and say it is wrong. Let me repeat that. I'm not going to be like on a labor right. We are trying to go round the corner, come back round and round and round, and cannot accept. Sometimes we say we never see that the article. I'm not in that. I'm not in for that. If the member corruptly did what he is accused of, it is wrong. And the two parties cannot be the same, and we don't want it in there. Because I will not support a party that is corrupt when the evidence can prove it. I will never be a part of that. Because if it's wrong, it's wrong. And it cannot be wrong or right. I would say, this man, I would be so disappointed in him. I would be so disappointed in him. He does not bear that character, and I would be so disappointed. But me tell you, we can't trust no man. Man to man is unjust. But who authorized it? Who authorized it? Who authorized it if it is so? How could this be happening under the leadership of Christopher Tufton portfolio as health minister? Does nobody reports to him? Or everybody's just in for the corruption? How are going there? What's happening here? What is happening? What is happening? Something not right. Something is not right. I am not judging, but I have a feeling that something is not right. Something is not right. Me not care if I JLP or PMP night. Me and them the kind of person. And me say this one day one will not hear me at all. Because I don't know how me if I come support something wrong. And if so, every red cent must be paid. If it is true, and whatever the law will do otherwise, every red cent must be paid. It is too much, and it is pressure in the country. It is too much. It is pressuring us. And we're not going to support it from any angle. I don't care how. If we're for corruption, it must be right across the board. As I said, I would be so disappointed. I'm waiting, because some things so have to be. Because we're in a darkness, everything will light up, you know. Somebody just sent me this, but I'm looking to confirm it. I don't yet confirm it. No, there's another corruption breakout today again. That, you remember when they have the surgical run walk and said the proceeding would go towards the university pediatric ward? None of the money not got to the ward. The money that was donated does not go to do what it said it would do. Who again is responsible? Who again is responsible? Somebody has to be responsible. But it just not looking good. It just honestly.
We have more news. Following the recent protest at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, the hospital's chief executive officer and senior medical officer met separately with nurses and junior doctors in the accident and emergency department to hear about the challenges they face and discuss solutions. Clinical coordinator for the Western Regional Health Authority, Dr. Delroy Frey, says the primary issue remains chronic overcrowding, a problem he explains has existed for decades but has worsened since Hurricane Melissa. Carla Ramdeen reports. A temporary dome structure is to be installed at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James to accommodate the approximately 150 patients while refurbishment works at the hospital are being carried out. The move follows days of protests by hospital workers last week about poor working conditions. Not an easy task. In fact, I have asked the administrators that we must move aggressively now to open up the refurbished hospital. At least it would be nice if we could move the accident and emergency department back on the main building. It's a nice, lovely space that is being renovated, and we look forward to that. Dr. Delroy Frey is clinical coordinator for the Western Regional Health Authority. He says the primary reason for last week's protest is chronic overcrowding at the accident and emergency department, a problem he says has existed for decades but has intensified since Hurricane Melissa. And I can tell you this, I've been here for 40 years.
I'm Maureen.
Ever since I'm here, even before we move from the main building, we usually have 20 to 30 patients sitting in accident and emergency, needing bed. Since we have, removed to the makeshift accident and emergency area there, we have had the same number of patients waiting for bed. However, since the Hurricane Melissa, 50 to 60% of our bed capacity space has been damaged. He says doctors are now being forced to prioritize the most critically ill patients for available beds, while others remain in the waiting area. I am in agreement with them. The refurbishing of the damaged area has taken too long. But out of the discussion, why we get them back to work is that as we speak now, I'm standing on the grounds here. We have about 3 sets of workmen at the back addressing the ward street. And I'm an optimistic man that by the end of this week, we can open up our ward spaces. Initially, we used to have 350. We have 150 now. We want to get it back to the 350 space where we can cut down the waiting in the E&E. Carla Ramdeen, CBM News.
Let me see what. I noticed somebody typed something a while ago. Then I wait gone. Purpose driven. I said, why you writing a purpose driven? We was playing the clip, so I couldn't answer. But I said, well, you're right. We want to hear the truth. And we are waiting to hear the truth. And let the chip fall right where it should fall. I don't care who is. We're sick of this now in this country. Sick of it now. Sick of it now.
He doesn't ignore your...
So I say earlier, right, them a cuss out Miss Burton, but she said access to information. It was the same thing Mark Golin was talking about in the Parliament, the access. Let me play it.
I have one other comment which is not on the content of the bill, but is more on the legislative process. And this has been triggered by my experience with this bill. So when I received the bill, when it was tabled last week, it was in long form, and it's an amending bill.
No corruption
when I
support over it.
Act to see what was being changed. Because on reading the bill in isolation, you have no idea of what it's doing or what it's saying. I tried on Parliament's website to find a complete copy, up-to-date copy of the Financial Administration Audit Act, or even of the legislation that had introduced this fund. Neither the bill that did that, nor the act that resulted when that bill was passed were available on Parliament's website. And, Mr. Speaker, I must complain about the management of the website of Parliament in relation to legislation. It is not being kept current. I looked on it, there was one act for 2025 on the website of Parliament. And the 2024 did not have the Financial Administration Amendment Act 2024, which is a legislation that introduced this fund into our law. I checked on the Ministry of Justice's website. It's not there. Because the Ministry of Justice's website only has the revised laws of Jamaica on it, and that the revised laws, colleagues, are the laws that result when the Acts of Parliament go through a law revision process, which the law revision commissioners oversee a process that is a technical process, that is to make sure that what goes into the revised laws is an accurate statement of the law, because so many of the legislation that we pass are amending, so you're changing this and changing that, and it's almost like creating a puzzle and making sure all the pieces of the puzzle are properly configured in the amending pages. So they haven't reached 2024 yet. So you can't find any legislation on the Ministry of Justice's website for 2024, much less 2025 or 2026. So I was at a loss. So I had to reach out to the Ministry of Finance and to the Office of Parliamentary Counsel, and they very kindly were able to provide me with the 2024 Amendment Act, which is this, which has enabled me to make this presentation here today. This is not good enough, Mr. Speaker. Our laws are important. Access to our laws are fundamental to the rule of law in the country. And I really think we need to do better, and the necessary human or other resources need to be put in place to ensure that the website of Parliament has all bills and all acts that have been passed or tabled or passed in this Parliament on a current basis. Too often, I have to be emailing Parliament and they tell me it's not yet done, and it is a chaotic and chaka-chaka system of running the Parliament and the legislative side of it. I had to raise that today, Mr. Speaker, because I think
chaka-chaka Parliament.
These are not resource-constrained things. This is just a question of putting a little bit of effort and priority behind it because it is important. And it is very important that we do that.
When I hear that? Not even the website of Parliament not in order. Unnecessary, everything out of order. Sick and tired of them now, man. I'm sick and tired of this. You know what hurt me, man? I also want to sit down there talking nonsense about prosperity. Infrastructure and all kind of garbage. Every day is the same thing. Sick and tired right now, man.
Minister, my difficulty with that answer is that the content of the MOU is at large. The law doesn't determine what that MOU says. The law is what authorizes a public officer to disclose confidential information about citizens. And Roman 2 of paragraph B says that it's permissible if the recipient of the information is receiving it because it's required by the functions that they have, the law enforcement functions that they have essentially. But subsection 1 is an alternative basis and simply says you can share it with them if there's an MOU, whether they need it for their functions or not. Yeah. And we don't know what the MOU can say. We have no idea what the MOU is going to say. So I'm just saying that it
Exactly, Sanya.
broadens the circumstances in which information can be shared. And the only thing I'm hearing in response is that don't worry about it. The MOUs will give sufficient protection. The content of the MOUs is not prescribed by Jamaican law. So I don't find that to be a satisfactory answer. The other point I want to make is just to reiterate what the member for Manchester South said, and this relates to paragraph A of subsection 4, which is because the MOU has to be consistent with government policy, and what constitutes government policy is a very broad concept. It would enable, potentially or theoretically or maybe in practice, an instruction to be given to the CTD that government policy does not permit the sharing of information in certain circumstances. And that could covertly narrow the scope in which the situation of entering into MOU is permissible. That subparagraph Roman 2 in paragraph A, which makes reference to government policy, ought to say as disclosed in some publicly available document, such as a white paper or a ministry paper that's been tabled in the House, or something like that. It can't be something that is not known to the public and that comes from the pen of a minister who it could potentially be self-serving. That they definitely don't want this information shared. So the minister tells the CTD, no, it's not government policy for information to be shared in these circumstances. Nobody knows about it. There's nothing public about it. The communication is private. The government policy is not generally known. But it's a policy coming from a minister's pen. And I think that was a concern that the member raised. And the answer given is not an answer. The answer given was that the closing words in A that say that it's concerning the exchange of information of the kind contained in the disclosure doesn't take the matter any further. So those 2 points I wanted to put on the record because we're talking about the rights of citizens of Jamaica, and we should be passing laws that, yes, ensure that our government and our state are in good standing internationally, but we must also formulate them in a way that protects citizens from excessive use of power in a way which is not in keeping with the intent of Parliament. And and the provisions are too widely drawn to feel assured of that. Thank you.
Pure madness in our place. So they might change all the law for change the FID law. When they might try to put the clause in, but then they bring a clause where for change and where for put back in there. Then people are real some fire them, You know them a criminal. Real some fire on the country. Jesus, man. I'm terrible, man. Nobody saw they send me. Let me hear this all.
This is Make We Talk breaking news. An item of news just coming in. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOPA, has arrested 3 people in connection with a multi-million-dollar fraud investigation that targets several financial institutions across Jamaica. This is Make We Talk news. As we get some more news, we will pass it on to you.
Oh, I see that. Somebody just send that to me. I win it, send it. I win it, send it. Never make gonna hear this too.
As a period, we just have to get through and normalcy will return.
I think that is what that.
Zara Burton, founder of 18 Degrees North.
Listen.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of the National Integrity Action, NIA, Professor Trevor Monroe, believes civil society and media groups can pressure the government into action by signing a petition.
Perhaps the PAJ ought to consider asking all journalists, not just the executive, to sign a petition, give it to our good minister, as well as other civil society bodies, and say, we are proposing what was agreed 14 years ago, 2011, and its reform in terms of the current review that is being proposed to see to what extent those recommendations need to be updated. This be done in accordance with the Constitution of Jamaica.
Professor Trevor Monroe, and he is the former Executive Director of NIA and Executive Director of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP, Jeanette Calder, agrees that citizen action may force an amendment to the law.
Much has been done and can be done with it where it is now. However, I can only imagine the change that would be possible if we could really get those timelines and get the needle moving. But am I expecting that? No, not without citizens weighing in, if we're going to look at the past as a guideline.
Jeanette Calder, Executive Director of JAMP. They were speaking at a public forum held by Jamaicans for Justice on Wednesday.
The youth arm of the governing Jamaica Labour Party, Young Jamaica, is calling on opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Daws, to reveal whether a company owned by a PNP member of Parliament received 12 dialysis machines imported for public use. The Auditor General reported that in 2024, the University Hospital of the West Indies tax exemption status was inappropriately used to import dialysis machines into the country. The issue is reportedly being probed by the police fraud squad. Young Jamaica is also calling on Dr. Daws to declare whether he's of the view that the actions described by the Auditor General amounts to an act of defrauding the Jamaican state and has disenfranchised
Here, or ask
poor
question about
Jamaicans.
defrauding
The group says given Dr. Dawes' relationship with his PNP colleagues in Parliament, it should not be beyond him to find the truth and tell the Jamaican people. This comes after the group on Monday rejected Dr. Dawes' claims that he has no affiliation with Jack Den Pharma and Medical Services. Dr. Daws made the claim in a post to his Instagram account in what he says was a response to persistent rumors about his involvement with the company. The company is owned by East Central St. Andrew Member of Parliament, the PNP's Dennis Gordon. Dr. Daws has denied any wrongdoing. You're listening to the news.
So, Dr. Daws denied any wrongdoing in regards to I'm going to play episode 1 of Dr. Daws.
About one of our nation's most vital institutions. I'm Dr. Alfred Daws, Shadow Minister of Health and Wellness, and a graduate of the University of the West Indies Medical School and a former chief resident in the Department of Surgery at the University Hospital. And over the coming days, we'll be taking you through a disturbing journey, one that exposes how the University Hospital of the West Indies, a beacon of Caribbean healthcare excellence, has been brought to its knees by mismanagement, corruption, and a fundamental betrayal of public trust. The recent revelations in the Auditor General's report are not just numbers on a page. They represent lives affected, resources squandered, and a healthcare system pushed to the brink. Today, let's start at the beginning with the history of this great institution, its regional importance, and the crisis it now faces. To understand what we stand to lose, we first must understand what the University Hospital of the West Indies truly represents. In 1945, in the aftermath of World War II, the Committee of Higher Education in the colonies made a transformative recommendation: establish a university in the West Indies. Jamaica was chosen as a site, and critically, it was decided that the first faculty should be that of medicine, as there was a desperate shortage of medical professionals throughout the region. In October 1948, the University College of the West Indies, affiliated with the University of London, opened its doors with its first cohort of medical students. On January 18, 1953, Sir Winston Churchill himself toured the hospital. The message was clear. This was an institution of international significance, deserving of international support. The UHWI is not just another hospital. It is the first teaching hospital in the entire Caribbean region. And an
True.
internationally
True,
recognized
true. We can't
academic
mash up the thing,
institution.
man.
It serves as the premier regional referral center, providing other Caribbean countries with an affordable option for critical services. When medical students from across the English-speaking Caribbean seek world-class training, this is where they come. Today, the hospital operates 579 beds and is classified as a Type A regional referral hospital, the highest classification. Each year, an estimated 10% of the Jamaican population visits the hospital. But beyond Jamaica, UWI's impact radiates throughout the region. It graduates more than 300 healthcare workers annually at the undergraduate level and almost 40
Yes, he must
specialists
step
at the
down.
graduate level through the Faculty of Medical Sciences. These professionals don't just serve Jamaica. They return to Barbados, Trinidad, Grenada, Belize, Guyana, and every corner of the English-speaking Caribbean to provide medical care in their home countries. This is the institution that made me, as well as my colleagues, be able to serve you. This is what we stand to lose should we continue down this road. The Ministry of Health and Wellness itself has acknowledged that cases of chronic non-communicable diseases such as diabetes,
Good night, Clive.
hypertension, heart disease, and kidney disease continue to burden the facility, causing chronic overcrowding and ward space problems. This isn't a new problem. As far back as 2017, reports warned that the overcrowding at the UHWI could cost the hospital its accreditation to train doctors and nurses. Resident doctors have written formally to management describing working conditions that fall below acceptable standards for a tertiary teaching hospital. They document that doctors currently lack adequate on-call rest facilities and functional beds, furniture, and even refrigerators. They state bluntly, these conditions fall below acceptable standards for a tertiary teaching hospital. In detailed internal memos, staff outline what they call long-standing infrastructural and supply challenges. Defective and unused beds, over 30 of them on the medical wards.
Hi, Nadi.
Severe overcrowding in the emergency department experienced by every patient and relative who visit. And this happens despite available ward spaces. The closure of the medical annex for over 17 months and recurrent shortages of basic items such as stationery. There are periodic shortages of essential medications and an inconsistent availability of blood tubes and IV
What?
fluids. Critically inadequate supplies of something as simple as betadine contribute to contaminating blood cultures and prolonged admissions due to inadequate antibiotic coverage. There are shortages of contrast and injector syringes in the radiology department, affecting the ability to get CAT scans. Consultants themselves have raised serious concerns about procurement priorities, writing, despite the lack of basic equipment and supplies, there seems to be a strong motivation by the hospital management to procure items that have not been requested by senior medical staff. They describe expensive imaging equipment purchased or leased without the requisite plans for regular maintenance. And note that even when equipment exists, restricted access to portable x-rays and insufficient access to C-arms in the operating suite is not being facilitated in an equitable manner. Meanwhile, they report that our work is being hampered by a lack of basic items such as air conditioning within the main operating theater, defibrillators, and the provision of basic gases. They add that frequent calls by the consultants are largely being ignored. On accountability, consultants raise the alarm that UHWI is a fee-collecting entity for radiology services and pharmacy retail. Yet, no definite accounts with respect to hospital income from these activities seem to be forthcoming. Only rough estimates seem to be provided in reports by the hospital management, despite the presence of a billing office and an accounting department at the hospital. They wrote, this raises questions regarding the financial and accounting practices of the hospital. Consultants also requested basic transparency. The consultants wish to have further information regarding what the procurement process entails. For example, who are the persons responsible for generating the needs list that guide the procurement process? Information is required regarding whether members of staff, such as the consultants, have any say in what items are required and hence ordered. Are the procurement documents available as public records, past and present? Regarding clinic space, staff documented that there is a persistent shortage of functional clinic spaces at least 3 days per week. Several clinic cubicles are non-functional and some also lack working computers. With the recent addition of structural cardiology and stroke clinics, existing clinic space is no longer adequate to effectively accommodate patient volumes. The Department of Medicine residents stated, we must state clearly that it is unreasonable and unsafe to expect staff to continue under these conditions for another month. These are not the words of politicians. These are the words of the people on the ground, consultants, residents, and interns, documenting in black and white how failing infrastructure and ignored complaints are putting patients and staff at risk. This is where we arrive.
Let me pause that little. Now they asking PMP MP step down question. I'm not seeing anything about it. I'm looking. Cliff Hughes break the news out. And I see the PMP put out a statement. So me follow the PMP. I see a statement out. And nationwide alone. I see it in a Glen and I see it in a Observer neither. I hear it on the news, so I don't know. But I hope I'm wrong, but I have a bad feeling about it. Just telling you the truth how I feel. I have a bad feelings about it. And if so, I say Xavier Main, Tufton, Andrew, Floyd Green, them never step down. I don't know. But it is left to see if it is true what the leader of the opposition will do. Good night, man, sir.
Good night, Jen. Step down for what?
Hold on. No, hold on. Let me put you up. You're low. No, I say if it is true.
I listen to Cliff Hughes, you know. Cliff Hughes, they on them payroll and Cliff Hughes have to talk whatever to get the tax write up. I listen to them Monday, but even if that the case, step down for what? Jamaica mash up. Isn't me? They play the game where they are playing. Step down for what? Not be a bigger person, not be like the Democratic Party in America.
Yeah,
play the same game where they are playing.
Hold on.
Jamaica gone.
But you know what? You want to see your party be the same thing like the other one?
Play the same game where they are playing about a boy, you know, high morality and what they play the same game. We tried that. They tried that the last time. Before the election, we said them all this and that, and the people them still don't want that. The people them like the corruption, so you just do
so you feel say the PMP if you just get corrupt like the JLP too.
Let's say corrupt, but play the same game. Nobody look how much thing them people are doing in 10 years. Eh? Being the bigger person now work because the people them reject for another third term. The people them like the corruption.
Is it Mr. Not being the bigger person I say, yo, we're going to step down. It don't mean nothing to Jamaican people. Jamaican people like the corruption. You see me? And this I just go over 10 in connection with the place where get the 12 dialysis machine.
Mm-hmm.
That a small fries compared to the $800 million we're missing from the health ministry, and we're missing from another $800 million we're missing from agriculture. That a small fries that.
Me not too
I want to step down. I'm going to tell about step down, you know.
Me not disagree tonight. Me not think we want to portray the corruption like them. Me not think, and if so be it, and them become corrupt, me not gonna really talk no more politics nor support the party.
Jen, I just throwing it out. Jamaican people like the corruption. You being the person who say you not gonna be corrupt. Them not really care about that. Them like the corruption, election day, you give them a money and them vote them vote for you. That's how Jamaica people like. So no matter how good you say you go, you know, we not in a corruption, way. Them like it, that's what them like. You see me? That's what them like. And we just
so that means to say the country for just remain corrupt.
Then me throwing the tower.
Me start to know where you come from still, you know, but me don't know if me want to support you. Me understand what you're saying now. You are saying that the people then prefer the corruption more than, so if anything the PNP have to just act the same way like the JLP, then we in a one we doom then, man.
That's how when me come to, we doom.
We do.
That's how the people like the corruption. That's how the people them like.
I mean, understand what you say, because Tufton not step down, Floyd Green not step down, Xavier Main not step down, Andrew Holness not step down. So we'll say, well, tell if a PNP finding a corruption, don't step down neither, boy. It's sad, man.
It's sad. And me I look on it, the 10, the 12 dialysis. A small fries compare to them four names the way you call. Xavier Main left last school, the man never tried a case before. And the man buy a building for $100 million. Eh? And I see point out that and the man tell when tell them say, man get him a lawyer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Them love the corruption. Nobody not call for him for step down. Eh? What day before yesterday, agriculture minister $800 million in a unaccounted for basically. Nobody not tell flag him to step down. The people them love the corruption. Isn't it Jamaica people love the corruption?
But what this I want upon me YouTube, Dean Beerley say PNP been corrupt. Name them out. Name out all the corruption where PNP do. I make we name out all where the JLP do. I make we see. Can we have a countdown tonight? Dean Beerley. Type them out.
How much them said that the 12 dialysis machine come to? Them give a figure.
You know, so I never hear no figure for the machine.
Yeah, but I know say a small fries compared to the $800 million way unaccounted for an agriculture minister. Like you know say.
At least, this one about Finsack. Move across yourself, fire. Cause you never know nothing about Finsack. So shut up your mouth. You don't go come here. You only hear Finsack. But you don't know one crap about Finsack. So shut your mouth. Me see what on that out. Finsack. You know what was Finsack all about?
But in the debate,
I never did taxpayer money nobody robbing a brother. So where you come about all the whole on the labor right? Finsack. I never taxpayer money. Let's say they may have Finsack and a PNP rob the bank, the money them out of the bank. I never did taxpayer money. So shut your crap. Shut your crap.
In the debate with Mark and Andrew. Andrew not admit saying get the Finsack house. In the debate, Andrew admit saying get one of the Finsack house, you know? So not talk about Finsack. Andrew admit saying when Mark bring it up, and Mark say, yo, Andrew get one of the house. Then Andrew say yes, him get one of the house. Them the people them will lose the house now. Andrew get one of the house. and couple more Labour MP get one of the host.
But then for final, why you think the JLP won't release a report make everybody see?
That's why them don't want to release it. That's
Can't
why they don't want to
release
release the report because I go show them said them benefit the most from food sack.
JLP benefit from FinSac and the Edward Saga cause all the way happen. So if you go shut your mouth and go get the facts together, block him off from my platform. I never really want to know tonight, you know.
Yeah, moderator black. I have it again. Remember, say a different form.
Oh yeah, I forget a different something different. Entire other party exposed with corruption and a try for no one accept it. No one upon black no one there when name black him off.
Me just frustrated.
I start to understand what you're saying, man, sir. Because I'm going to tell you the truth, but me cannot back the corruption still, you know, but I understand what you're saying, but I tell you. Alright, the land, because he hear about say the PMP man name, we saw quick in company platform tonight, but all when we talk about labor right here, we say him not see all the article. You know, say. Yeah, black your off here.
Yeah, you have to black him now, because start to spot.
Yeah, find that, we have to get rid of you. You're too enough on out there, man.
So you say you have a bad feeling about it, so like something goes so?
Yeah, for some reason, me feel so.
I don't believe nothing from Cliff Hughes. And you notice what them do? Them are focused on 4 companies and them are focused on 1 company. They're not talking about next 3 companies.
But everything will still come to light. So all I jump up, it still will come to light. It still will come to light. It still will come to light. Look like me forgot black on the hard tonight, man. I told me black now. When I run out over here so tonight, hour going. Then out tonight, man, sir.
6 stomach, man. I see country in a toilet, man. 6 stomach,
I run out like hell tonight. Oh, they send them out now. Send them out, man.
Collect, because you know, IMF going to 400 million US dollar over the day before yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, so them are thief out some of that. You know. Man, are the country, man. But I don't believe anything where Cliff Hughes them. I never listen to them, you know. If me I scroll them up on TikTok, I scroll past them. I never listen to them. You know.
Dina is saying. Dina is saying 3 of the 4 companies, 3 of JLP directors. So Dina.
See that Dina?
Dina, is it true?
Dina, we know more about it.
Yeah? That way Dina saying.
Dina, we know more about it, you know. Dina the on TikTok at the time, so I know about it. Me just pass through and listen to them more time.
It's a 4 company and 3 of JLP directors. So who is the next director for the other one? Dina, type in a comment. If 3 of JLP director, who is the other one? Because we want this thing clear up, you know. We want to know if Cliff Hughes attack truth. Where's the Sonia Matthews? Money sweet them.
Well, Dina join the box, man. Dina the on TikTok at the time. Dina can join the box. But me here say 4 company, and I wonder how them just talk about 1 company, so what am to the next 3 company?
That me want to know.
That's suspect to me.
Yeah, that me want to know. That me want to know too. That me want to know too.
Yeah, man, Dina probably right.
Dina, come in our box.
Because you can't have 4 company and labor them is a focus on 1 company. That means like the next 3 connected to them then.
Good night, Dina.
Yeah, man. One of the company really owned by the guy that took over from Peter Phillips, you know.
Yeah, it really owned by him for true.
I would like to hear what his excuse, because the PMP does not put up with corruption. So I guess the leader wouldn't take any action now until the whole thing has been investigated. Want get up hard and show someone and him guilty or something.
Yeah. But I just say that, say, for some reason, me have a feeling, say, because from the first time the news come out, Cliff used them have it, and put the man name out there. So you're saying three of the companies are...
Cliff Hughes didn't get it right. They were trying to pin Daws into it, but Daws is not a member. I was telling people, you check your facts. I'm not a member of none of those. I'm a medical doctor. I was invited to do certain things as a medical profession, but not as an owner of the business. I have no interest in owning the business as an owner. But they were trying to mess up Daws name in the whole thing.
Them know them not try to call up. They still a call up in there. The young arm of the Jamaica Labour Party still.
Daws is not involved in anything.
So
Daws is clear, very clean.
So let me ask you something, Dina. Any of those three, do you have any slight idea who are the three or even one of those directors under the Jamaica Labour Party?
I know the names without research if I can make but the names are out there.
No, I don't see it because I look and I never see it before I come on. I never see it in the report. The report never state. It just say company 1, company 2, company 3, company 4. So it never really put no name because that's what was in the Auditor General report. Yeah, so it was numbers instead of names. But then the question I want to ask, who inside would give the authority for him to use the exemption of the tax?
Well, I mean, if he doesn't work with the university,
right?
That's one thing for sure. But people have connections, and if you have your connection and ask someone from the accounts department have your account for all of this,
That me want to know too.
God. You on the outside can't use university and do anything,
No, somebody inside have to give him the authorization to do it.
Well, I think they're trying to cripple my guy from the PMP is that because he built this big plaza in Kingston. You remember it came under controversy last election.
Yeah, remember.
He never get no approval from KSAC if he built it and all of that, and then investigated it, was set free. Because it was proved that yes, he did a plan.
Yeah.
He might go ahead before the total, start building before the total thing was, but in finally he got no permission to go ahead. The plan was approved.
Yeah.
So now at one of the medical center is there, and he was saying he might use also my Cuban doctors to offer them, because that is expensive in Jamaica. They're going to offer it much cheaper.
I remember.
Half price what anybody else is giving it for. So they are now pinning him to that organization seems like one of those who get the machine. But no matter who gets it, it happened 2 years ago. It's under the JLP administration, so show something slack is happening.
Yes. I believe so the next hospital will build over Portmore, the private one. Some of them number 1, 2, 3, and 4 have some link to that. In my judgment.
I same thing I saying again. The hospital, like I remember say, Andrew them go over the cut ribbon,
Yeah.
It's a private hospital.
Yeah.
So I feel say some of them machines will be over there. So.
Because Dina, would it be that the 12 machine would be at where medical place name?
Most likely it has more. It is at more than one place,
Yeah, more than one place. So how many would be at the PMP man place?
That we don't know yet. I'm probably doing none too.
No.
Everybody's trying to find something to cover the nasty deeds,
That what I realize. That's what I realize. Boy, it just sad all over though. Why so much corruption just out there like that? Just one after another. What the country get to this? How we get here?
Jamaica over the years, and Jamaicans have never voted against corruption.
Well,
And
at that man, so they just there settle.
yeah, but you must remember, on the 3rd of September, the nation all the corruption happening was pointed out to the nation. These are what's happening. And Jamaicans still went back to the poll and vote for these guys. What you think they're going to? You think it's going to stop? They get the feelings now that no matter what we do, we are okay. The Jamaicans not against it. It's like our Lord God unto ourselves now.
So you're joining the sentiment with man's officer. Well, even if the man do what him do wrong, we don't fire him from the PNP, right?
No, I don't join that. No, I don't support wrongs. If he do it any at all, if he's guilty, yeah, he must be face punishment. No, I don't join that.
You know,
Must live above them.
we're frustrated because to every corruption I point out before the election, and then people are still on pan campaign trail with them, and they're clearing your face, you can see it, And they still got put back the people. Me just frustrated, me just say, yo, anything, yeah, man.
No, but they are going to continue with it, okay? But it was one of the biggest campaigns, and the whole thing was about corruption. And the Jamaican people went back and voted for them. What does it indicate?
So the people
what signal you think is sent to them?
Did the people then really?
We can't do it.
The people that don't really vote personally, people then were bought out.
Yeah. No matter how bought out, you tell me. We are Asian, we're supposed to have sense. And if you do that, no. So why nobody not offer me money for vote?
They never offer me neither.
Why somebody else should take it?
When a man broke and hungry, they say, me you're not broke and hungry, so they not come away. They look for the hungry people. They look for the hungry people then.
Me not that weak. So when I know a person to buy that way, them own you,
They own you. And you can't ask for nothing because them pay you already.
They pay already.
So what matters to something? Because we're talking about the corruption now. Where we heading? Just in that corruption.
We're heading to the same place.
A leader came forward to save it, don't he? And he point out all the corruption and say, I don't need to do it. I am the savior. You reject the savior. What else can he do? The savior came in, and you rejected him.
No, get the point. No, get the point what I say. Like we are talking about, the place is corrupted and the people of Jamaica love the corruption. So I am saying, what is the direction the country want then? It would be corruption.
They enjoy it. It's a part of Jamaica culture.
Right, so that means to say the PNP will never see back power.
No, I wouldn't say that,
Then if a get the reasoning there. If a corruption the people love and the goal in not in for the corruption.
They don't vote against corruption. That's the problem with Jamaica. They don't vote against corruption. This is the first time we have seen the jail being such corrupted behavior. No.
Yeah,
JMP has been to prison already for these things. Yeah, people give them check and chance already too. JLP MP come from prison.
You're right now.
And right from prison straight on the platform farm and run for the JLP. You have to understand. So you wonder about the Jamaican people. What is it Jamaicans really want?
Exactly, Betty. We don't know. Corruption.
They love corruption.
See, Dina say when me say no, him just not say I'm marked to keep the person, But when you look into it, the Jamaica people love the corruption. Because it's blatant in your face, before the election. Blatant. And they still vote back for the man, so We're heading to the direction of 80. We might not like saying it, but we're heading right there. 80
What do you mean,
direction.
it's no joke.
Somebody on YouTube is saying when Tough Time step down, then the PMP MP should step down. So Tough Time for step down first.
You can't step down and you don't find a man guilty of anything, you know.
Yeah, I understand that, but just in case anything. Somebody phone ringing. Somebody phone ringing.
Phone. I don't know who the person, they must say connected. You know, sound like a Daws. I don't know the person who did not that, but him talking of parables, I don't know. But if the person is not a member of Parliament.
The person a member of Parliament.
Oh, you know, you pick up how we might talk.
I not understand that out around the place.
Okay. Alright. Well, I have to deal with it then, but maybe just throw my hands up in the air and say, yo, you know, people them love the corruption. You see me?
But we can't make the PNP, if two parties can't be the same still, you know. One after the for bridge a gap still, you know.
Come election, the people have no business about that.
No, just rumors out.
Come election, the people them no care about that. People them have vote with them belly, how much money you can give them. That's how the people them vote. So a man cannot look upon you for the 4.5 years him not look upon you. Him not come in your area, him not do nothing for you. And 6 months before election, him come and start give you money. And you vote back for him. Not me. Not me. Me whole spite, you know. Me spite people. I say me not see from them time. They keep your money. Me continue to suffer. Because 4.5 years me there, me suffer. Me suffer for the next 6 months. So me stay.
Me get your
people
point.
know for hold them on.
Me get your point. I understand exactly what you're saying. So what we want to find out, another thing we want somebody to tell me. How nationwide can get so much inside significant talk? Who tell him these things? Where am I get these info from?
Him could be lying too. Say, come here, hear the audio where I say, and the PMP leader is livid.
Yes, the PMP is upset. Yes, I'm furious. Furious is the word in you. Yeah.
It's furious. Him could be lying, and on the other hand, them could also have another person in there in the PMP where PMP never get rid of, who are passing information to them to liberate. Like the girl where then they get rid of, I forgot her name now, the one that they run up a puppy inside there. So.
Venetia Phillips that.
Venetia. Because she that pass on information to Labour Rights, so them get rid of her. So maybe the Labour Rights have somebody still in our PMP that pass on information to them. I'm going to say this. Let me not bother say it. But there's somebody in there that I think is too close to Vaz. People who pick up a woman attack. Too close. Can even see a picture with that person?
Yeah, I see them when they say a birthday. Me see it, man. But me playing a clip here and listen it.
I have one question for the Jamaican people. I'm not tired. I'm not tired to hear about corruption and the government stealing from you guys. I'm not tired. Every day is a new scandal. Which member of the Jamaican Labour Party doesn't have a fraud or some illicit enrichment scandal? Which member of the Jamaican Labour Party is not being investigated for illicit enrichment and given contracts to their friends and family members? Which one? Oh, must be Everett Warrington, the only one who seems to have a bit of integrity. Even though he's a mama man, he seems to be the only politician on the JLP side that has integrity. I'm not tired. I say if me work for a company and every day there's some corruption probe or something like that, me not quit because guess what? I don't want my name tarnished or my reputation tarnished. So I sit down in Jamaica every day and I hear about the corruption and the stealing and this and that. I want to just sit down there and take it and alright with it. And now questions. And now questions. What are you guys gonna do about it? The one them that are tired. What are you guys gonna do about it? That is my question. I have one question for the Jamaican people.
I don't know if they want to answer a question, Mrs. Always sit down and do and talk about it every day. But it is a big old dirty disgrace. Still is a senator now, still is. Yeah, man, me talk it on the platform. I said, some of the PMP then too friendly with some of the and I skin up teeth with them. And on the time for I skin up no teeth with them.
It's terrible. 3 days in a row was 3 different corruption.
3 days in a row.
First, the health minister. In a row. First day it was the health minister and film thing. The millions from this up. The next day it was flight greed and the $800 million. You see me? There's no proof, no evidence where him give the contract them and them thing. You see me? The next day the 12 dialysis machine. You can't keep
and
up
to
with
the
it.
one other one to the something there. You remember the surgical run something where they said them are gonna do it to the pediatric ward of UWI. All know the money cannot be found.
All know and China give them money for the STEM school them. You know, Andrew make them statement about the STEMs. Then get the money for them there. Where the money gone for them STEMs. The STEM school them no big, no bill. But the money gone.
That's why they must have carry the government forward. That's why, you know, there must be a balance in power, you know. We don't have to make one party a rule, you know. Because these are the things that happen. And if half of Jamaica population never go vote. So if you don't push out and vote, this will not happen. And it just coming like when the third term come a paid destruction.
Because the man them get the green light, them can't imagine so them do so many things, so much, them name cause so much in a corruption for the second term. So them can't believe so them get a third term. Yeah, them help thief it, but them never expect so much people that still vote for them. So that them get a green light. Them say, yeah man, look at them, love it man, make we give them more right. I saw the man them work. And them do it blatant. Man them do it blatant.
True.
Anyway, Jen, we go and listen. I'll go jump out.
Yeah, all right then. Thanks for joining in. I'm going to say Fergie him tonight. I didn't see him last night neither. Where's Clive? A kingdom of corruption. I like that one. A kingdom of corruption. That's what is happening in the country. A kingdom of corruption. I mean, I wonder if none of them now move them to it. Peace and peace. No man. We're gone bad. Alright, the phone lines are open. If you're on YouTube, you can call me on the WhatsApp. If you're on TikTok, you can go in the box and I'll put you in. Anybody? Well, if there's nobody tonight, I say, I'm coming back. I know I wake up early this morning. Nobody know want to join the box. I'm going to play this. Let me finish play Dr. Daws.
not the words of politicians. These are the words of the people on the ground, consultants, residents, and interns, documenting in black and white how failing infrastructure and ignored complaints are putting patients and staff at risk. This is where we arrive at the heart of the crisis. It's not just that UHWI needs more resources, it's that the resources that have been allocated are not being used properly, transparently, or in the best interests of patients and the institution. The Auditor General has now confirmed what staff have been saying. The performance audit found that UHWI could not produce procurement documentation for 51 contracts valued at $521 million,
Wow.
making it impossible to verify whether the hospital got value for money or complied with the law. The same report exposed the misuse of the hospital's tax-exempt status to import goods for private entities, depriving the state of millions of dollars in revenue. So while doctors are begging for basic supplies, functioning beds, defibrillators to save lives, and safe spaces to rest, hundreds of millions of dollars are flowing through a system that cannot even produce the paperwork to show what was bought, from whom, and why. When a hospital designed for 579 beds is admitting 120 to 150 emergency patients per day, what does that look like? It looks like patients lying on trolleys in hallways, family members standing for hours because there are no chairs, nurses trying to monitor multiple critically ill patients simultaneously because the wards are overflowing, and doctors making impossible decisions about who gets the limited ICU beds available and who they must let die. The UHWI does not exist in isolation. It's a part of the University of the West Indies, which serves 18 English-speaking countries and territories in the Caribbean. UWI is consistently ranked among the top universities in the developing world, and its medical faculties are central to training the region's healthcare workforce. When UHWI struggles, when it loses credibility to procurement scandals and governance failures, it doesn't just affect Jamaica. It affects the reputation of UWI. It affects the ability of Caribbean medical graduates to secure residency positions internationally. It affects the willingness of international partners to collaborate on research. It affects everything. When this institution is compromised by corruption and mismanagement, every country in the Caribbean suffers. You cannot restore public trust with more press releases, panels with obscure terms of references, and ribbon-cutting ceremonies. You need systemic reform. Today, we stand at a crossroads. On one path lies continued decline, an institution that slowly loses its regional accreditation, its ability to attract top faculty, its capacity to provide world-class care, an institution that becomes known not for its medical breakthroughs, but for its procurement scandals, where the brightest Caribbean minds choose to train elsewhere because they've lost faith in its future. On the other path lies renewal, but only if we demand accountability, transparency, and fundamental reform. Only if we insist that those responsible for the failures detailed in the Auditor General's report face consequences. Over the coming days, we'll dive deeper into each aspect of this crisis. In the upcoming episodes, we'll examine the HR crisis, staff complaints, controversial transfers, shortages in critical departments, and what it all means for patient care. In subsequent episodes, we'll explain exactly how procurement fraud works, who benefits, and why it is so hard to detect. We'll trace the networks of influence that have allowed this to happen. We'll provide a detailed analysis of the Auditor General's findings, and ultimately, we'll present a roadmap for saving the UHWI. I'm Dr. Alfred Daws. Thank you.
Boy, I know say this is a big old dirty scandal, big old dirty disgrace. Headline all over. Headline all over. We can't continue this.
Has had other ministers, hold on,
How
I'm
are
on
they?
my feet,
Wait.
and has had
How will
other
she resurrect
ministers
from?
that have been equally capable and has done work that is thoughtful. The ministry does not do patchy work. The minister, hold on, I didn't interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. No, I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you.
Mr. Speaker, point with the greatest amount of respect. And I said I was constrained and painstakingly. And no, I said it. I said we do not want to have that said about this house, further the ministry. I have the greatest amount of respect for Mr. Chuck and I have the greatest amount of respect for Ms. Ford, Mrs. Ford. And I want it to be clear that I said the very attack that I'm speaking of is what we do not want for the house. I'm a part of this house. And no, I'm saying that. I'm making that clear. And I said, in fact, and I just want that to say because we are in a social media area where persons will cut and paste, and I'm not here for sound bites. No, I was not. And I said, I painstakingly said it. Thank you. But that's what I said. I was clear on what I said.
Oh, Lord. I mean, I know where she
Remember
resurrect
the news
from.
about you being...
We say Parliament. Let me play Isaac Parliamentary. What he said in the Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, I do rise to certainly say to the minister that
You're right.
no one in Jamaica would ever object to the increase in the stipend for jurors. We are consensus other than where that is concerned. The issue that I'm now having, and I'm constrained to stand and not be short in this presentation, Minister, is that the legislation as presented creates a number of problems for competing legislations as well as it may cause further delay in terms of the course of justice to its finality. For instance, the amendment as it now stands does not contemplate appeals in relation to decisions by the court. It actually isn't. It isn't, and it isn't for the obvious reason, Minister, that the legislation was somewhat copied from the UK legislation almost in its entirety. We, however, like you said when we were dealing with the other legislation, that we don't have the benefit of some of the other legislations like their criminal legislation, and as well as we start from the basis of talking about a preparatory hearing. But the reality is we don't have that in our justice system. All we pre-trial and case management hearings are not a preparatory hearing. In fact, preparatory hearings, there is an entire legislation in the UK that deals with that. It's actually a part of the trial in and of itself, where the issues from section 42, A, B, and even C would arise. It is during the trial before that single judge. Now, because of that, what also follows then is that we have a serious problem in terms of what the legislation is defining as jury tampering. So it's not clear in terms of how, because we are guided by the Constitution.
So they might change the law, you know.
They don't have a written constitution which kind of restrains or constrains the judges in their conduct. What happens here, though, is that jury tampering legislation, their provisions are intended to serve the interests of justice. In that individuals accused of criminal offenses should not be permitted to escape justice through any attempt to interfere with the jury. Now, we know that, but in the seminal case, there was no evidence of jury tampering, which would have given rise to, as you said, the purpose of this legislation. So what happens where, what we're setting up, as my friend would have said, is that we're creating situations where we can avoid or create scenarios where we remove the jury when it is a protection that the defendant who is most affected in relation to this process is not going to have the jury, because a judge may say, I am satisfied that certain circumstances exist. You yourself on your feet said the possibility of tampering. The legislation, certainly in the UK and from how you drafted or how it is drafted, seems to suggest that there are two things that the judge has to be satisfied with. And the most important part is that there is a substantial risk that tampering occurred. And that tampering would mean that there's evidence of a threat to the integrity of the process, and that evidence would found an application under the sections as you have it amended. The election by the prosecution. I do also adopt what my friend would have said in terms of why is it that the defense doesn't have the equality of arms in terms of the election of trial without a jury. The scenario in this situation is that it may very well be that a defendant is in a particular jurisdiction and feels that when jurors are impaneled, he cannot get a fair trial, and so he wants to elect to opt for the protection of the judge when just before empanelment or something like that, as the legislation reads, and that is taken away from them, and it is also circumventing the Criminal Justice Administration Act. So as it is right now, I could not support this bill as it is to be passed in the House, certainly. Now, the next aspect is that the rationale for the legislation would be that only where there is evidence that the accused is prepared to attack the process,
is important
there
to
must be
listen.
a real and present danger that the jury is also at risk. In the absence of that, the judge actually should not or ought not to have the power to simply say that we're going to elect to have a trial by judge alone. The next thing that is important then is the insertions for the JAJA, that is the Judicata Appellate Jurisdiction Act. Now, because it is absent, there's nothing in the legislation that sends you to JAJA, or there's no suggestion that the JAJA will actually be amended, which would have language that says, from the refusal of a judge of an application, from an order of a judge under section 42A, of the Act, which is made on determination of such an application. There is no such language, and therefore the bill as it is now would certainly be deficient and cause similar apprehensions or scare like the firearms legislation. The aspect of the appeal, though, is, and I could ask you the question, while I humbly suggest, is the section, does it provide a right of appeal or a grant of appeal against the order? And here's what I'm saying. The order, which is made under section 42A, is it to continue, can the trial continue in the absence, can the trial continue in the absence of the jury until it is that the appellate process is completed? So that is important, because in the UK that is how the legislation is set up, to say that once the judge says, announces, as in 42C, informs the defense and the prosecution that I intend to discharge the jury and I'm going to proceed by judge alone. You may make your submissions and then I make my ruling. After the ruling, the appeals lie with the Court of Appeal. In the criminal jurisdiction, it doesn't even say that, because we have civil and we have criminal in the Georgia, but it doesn't say that it is the criminal jurisdiction explicitly that the appeal lies. Then, Minister, that reference then would be the Court of Appeal rules, and then the notice of appeal or notice of application for permission to appeal in criminal matters must be filed within 14 days in our jurisdiction. There's nothing to say that where the judge makes the decision, as according to your legislation, that says, I am going to elect to go trial by judge alone, and then I make my ruling, find you guilty, give a written judgment, as your legislation says. But upon that, when does the time toll for the appeal? And that's open-ended. My suggestion would be humbly that it would have to, the appeal, the 14 days would toll at the end of the written judgment of the judge at first instance. And that would be similar in keeping with what happens in the UK. Similarly, it would follow that there must be a stay of proceedings until the appellate process is concluded. If the decision to go by trial by judge alone, and both persons have the option, both prosecution and the defense have the option to appeal the decision. At the point where we have a stay, Minister, you did say that we're trying to be more efficient. I can see the Chief Justice cringing, because these trials would then bring about some form of delay as it goes through the Court of Appeal, as it gets a date, and somebody is dissatisfied. Our final court is still at the UK. And so you can see the type of delay that would come from matters arising from this. So one wonders if this is actually improving efficiency, protecting the integrity of the jury system, or is it further clogging the court as written just now? So that is somewhat problematic. Again.
So you know, all right, may explain what I'm talking about. I don't think most of you following this.
And the election.
The change in that you don't have the jury. So you're only going to have the judge if you go before the court. What he's arguing is it's not a good decision. Too much burden will be upon the judge, and it will cause more backlog in the court. I said Bruce Golding also come out against it too.
Chief Justice or the judge nominated by him. So is it a specialized situation with the application? Because again, we do not have the preparatory hearing, which is that we have trial readiness, as I said earlier, but the preparatory hearing, we don't have the legislation to give guidance for such a hearing. So it then wonders if we are relying again on what now exists, which is directions, practice directions from the Chief Justice, or are we cementing the legislation to direct the process that we want? So while it is that I take no objection to advancing and improving and modernizing the legislation, and hope that we never would have again a scenario which took place in the Sean Campbell matter, which went all the way to the Privy Council, is that we must ensure that the legislation is meeting the object and purpose and the mischief that is tried to correct. And in the absence of correcting the appellate jurisdiction where that lies, and in the absence of or the attempt, not intentionally, but it has the effect of circumventing the Criminal Justice Administration Act, that it just needs to be revisited. I did painstakingly read the legislation and wondered if the member from, well, I didn't wonder, I kind of said that the member from Western St. James, West Central St. James, took no part in this legislation.
This
I
is
just
correct.
wondered, because
Everything.
I know the government
You're right.
doesn't do pitchy-patchy work. And that person is very, and the member from West Central St. James is very pedantic and exacting. And that is a compliment. So it is not an attack on my friend. I have great respect for that member. But to say that I just think that it's not. I'm not accusing you, Minister. I'm just saying that I think that many things weren't considered in relation to where we need to go. And I'm just rising to say that I'm hoping that as a House we're not embarrassed by passing a legislation that has too many holes, and then the general social media will say all we did was copy and paste, and we didn't have mature considerations and all the critiques that come from it. And so I'm saying it with the greatest amount of respect to say that there's a little bit more work that has to be done in relation to the section 42A, B, and C, including an inclusion and a direction of the appellate jurisdiction that would give effect to the legislation. I'm truly saddened that the increase in the stipend is attached to this particular amendment, because it's a tricky or a slippery slope. And those are just my humble contributions, and ask that you would consider it so that it doesn't delay what I know is much needed. And I support, Minister. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So what they are amending, and some of you don't even understand. I don't know, watching news, so I say everything. When you get a courthouse, you will understand. They amend all kind of law up in there. The FID law, the jury, no you need to use no jury, and all of these things. So I don't know where they want to get from it. But my people, all me can say here tonight is that we are in a sad state of affair with the direction in which the country is now heading. It was heading there before, but to see that the same government is in power, or somebody was calling, let me call back this one. I'm in a ear ring, you know.
Hello?
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Yes, ma'am.
You're still on the live?
Yes, I'm still on the live.
Oh, but I was calling. I didn't hear.
I didn't hear on the phone. I didn't hear.
Get any answer.
Sorry about that.
But as you mentioned that you think there's someone in PNP giving out some information, I believe it, because I listen to a popular radio in Florida. I would say the Caribbean station. And there is someone there who read the news and he make his commentary. And shortly after the hurricane, when they were giving out, they were making a big commotion about Matt Golden was they didn't give him any helicopter or something like that.
Yeah, I remember.
And he made a comment and said, he in his commentary, he was saying that Mark Golden got an helicopter the first time when he asked for it, but that Mark Golden refused it. He didn't want the one that was offered to him. And then, in a like a calling program, someone called him and asked him about it. And he said he got that information from someone in the PNP.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why. It's a long time I wanted to, really ask someone about it.
So that means we still have Cynic in the party, man.
Yes, I think there is a mole in the PNP. And with all that was going on still, and what I was saying, why is it that he comment on that one occasion? Look how many things happening.
Yes.
In Jamaica.
Yes.
Why is that?
Yeah.
But I know there are quite a number of laborites who actually work on that station. So I don't have much to say about it.
Yeah.
Because there is one, he said it outright, how he well wanted Andrew to win again, because look how long they have been talking that he's committing, he's stealing, and they can't catch him, and just I sometimes I have to cringe when I hear that big man talking.
Don't worry, man. Nothing in the Bible says whatever in the darkness will come to light. Time is the master.
Yeah, it's just how they grow up to this old mentality. Oh, the MP. I used to go to this MP and he used to give us pencil and book and stuff. I said, what? I thought it was the MP word to see that people are employed and that no one have to really come to them to beg them for things.
Then look, when people have to come beg them. Yeah, hi Marvin, good night. How you doing?
I'm saying,
bless up yourself.
This is how they grow up, and this is how they want it to stay. You have to go beg your MP something. Yeah,
that's how they brought the people then.
Yeah.
Handout.
And he's a labor, right? There's no doubt about it.
Awesome.
Imagine that.
Good night, Letia.
I really want, a long time I hear this commentary, and I well wanted to ask, say something about it.
And I thank you for calling and sharing it.
PNP have a mole inside of it.
Yeah.
And they need to find out who is that person.
We need to find it out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for
thank you for calling, sweetheart. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. We say you're just passing through. All right, thank you, because you're passing through at the right time when I am at the ending of the program. Sleep a kill me, man. I want to go lay down and sleep. So again, I must say thank you all again for keep coming back to the channel. And I love you and I appreciate you. And I want your sleep to be sweet. So I want to go sleep, because you can't say I want to sleep, right? And I'm doing well sleeping nowadays, too. That when morning time comes, I never want to get up. So I'll catch you. All right. Take care of yourself. Enough love. Bless upon yourself. Love you. Bye. All right, Marvin, I will. Good night, YouTube. Catch you tomorrow.